Listen, yeah, I did my best to make this video entertaining, but you guys gotta understand, I'm working with the media equivalent of a boiled potato here, bruv. Turning this dry-ass source material into a funny and consumable piece of media for you to enjoy is it's like asking for the time from Helen Keller. It's an impossible task, but somehow I'll make it work, so here you go. Big man Murray successfully smuggles a police sheriff, a wetsuit, some nerds, a sorcerer, and a sorcerer's mother into the Upside Down, which we now know is an interdimensionalistic gateway between the human ends and the Diddy dimension. Incredible summary, I know. 11 and Hopper split off to go to the lab while the rest of the gang are gonna climb up the iconic Season 5 radio tower so they can just aura farm on top of it and pray for a miracle, I guess. Thanks to fake ass Itachi over here, 11 has no intention of seeing none of these people or her boyfriend ever again. So then tell me, yeah, what emotion even is this meant to be, bruv? This is the face teachers be making when their class don't shut their asses up. Blood looks like she's about to take 10 points from Gryffindor, bruv. And for the love of God, blink. You're fighting Vepstein, not the flipping weeping angels, bruv. Before 11's bath time, she makes Hopper promise to not pull her out until Henry is dead, and he also makes her promise to not do nothing dumb like sacrificulating herself. So yeah, basically they both just blatantly lie to each other and get on with their date. The Nerd Squad then begin their ascent, and despite Steve and Jonathan earlier managing to climb this whole thing in one go, Mike and Will conveniently need to take a break at the exact same time on the exact same platform. But I am willing to look past this minor issue if they have a super emotional finale-style dialogue though.
Friends? No thanks. Best friends.
You know what, Mike, this is the last time I'm gonna say it, bruv, but you're an absolute pussy-o. You know what, I owe 11 an apology, because I finally figured out what this emotion is meant to be. Delight. It's an expression of suppressed ecstasy because she knows that she never has to put up with you and your fuck off cheekbones ever again. Once everyone gets to the top, they clock that the Diddy dimension is actually on its way. So they beg Hopper to beg Elle to beg Max to show them how to get to Henry through his maze of memories quicker because they was all about to be crushed by Diddy's rear end. That's right, despite being left at the squawk and having less energy than a fucking potato, Max still somehow found a way to be more useful than Mike. Even Vicky's doing more than that bum by at least getting Max's body to safety when Dr. K and the military mandem pull up to investigate. Basically, 11 kidnap Max and Carly's minds because she can apparently just do that now, and all three of them meet up in 11's depressing void. I mean, no wonder she never expresses no human emotions if this is what the inside of her flipping mind looks like. Now, after feeling up Vepstein's hand, all three of them get magically dumped in the memory maze. Max then leads them through it as fast as she can until they find Vepstein's cult table. And credit where due, at least 11 stood on business and immediately force-push Vepstein's freaky ass all the way out the back window. What I don't understand is why bro is tweaking over this. I mean, he's literally Henry Vepstein, bro. Look at the size of this mansion. You telling me he can't afford a W insurance package, bruv? Like, what's he stressing about? Oh, your fellow cultist disappeared. Yeah, that must be it. Well, either that or my guy has a personal vendetta against wetsuits, bruv. Elle then somehow thinks she's in a position to start chatting bare shit despite being blatantly skilled if by Vepstein. Again. Fortunately though, Kali Uchiha is casting a genjutsu that just makes it look like the kids disappeared, and they actually stay around long enough to see Henry expose himself as the monster.
He's the black thing.
Yeah, it's mad that, innit? Like, there's no way you guys could have seen that coming. Honestly, man, these kids are what I like to call ADBs. Absolute donuts, bruv. How did you not see that coming? Anyway, while the kids escape, Vepstein decides to read 11's thoughts. And I'll be honest, I've never felt more bad for a villain than in this moment right now, because little did Vepstein know he was about to be exposed to the entirety of Stranger Things Season 5 in one sitting. Being overwhelmed by pure ass seemed to throw Vepstein off his game, so he got ragdolled by 11 before full-on rage quitting the whole thing, bruv. And honestly, I don't even blame him. Carly was out here moving like Kavira going for an interrogation or some shit, but Vepstein just hit her with a fat Alt F4 and straight up logged off the game, bruv. It was crazy. In other news, Steve had the most blatantly obvious fake-out death scene of all time right before 11 interrupted the ritual and caused the Diddy dimension to stop descending. The Nerd Squad climbed up into a very conveniently placed gate and started then moving towards Vepstein's lair. Now, I don't know if they got like a magical interdimensional GPS or what, bruv, but they somehow just knew where to go. Steve then thanks Jonathan for saving his ass back on the tower, and then they just start like bare flirting, bruv. Honestly, man, just put Nancy in the cuck chair and then fuck already, bro. It's literally in Jonathan's genes to like Willie anyway, so he might as well just indulge at this point, am I right? Meanwhile, Vecna completely chalks Hopper's mental by making him see hallucinations of his dead daughter and even revealing 11's plan to stay behind. Bro then steals Carly's entire flow by tricking Hopper into thinking he shot 11 in the tank, so he breaks the whole thing wide open, no hesitation. As a result, 11 wakes up, which means that Carly and Max do too, leaving Derek and Holly to clutch up against V Diddy all alone. But I'm telling you guys, alright, Holly must have some mind-boggling secret magic ability or something like that, bruv, because for some reason, every time she runs from Repstein, he becomes an absolute droid burger bot, bruv. How is bro moving like hallway Darth Vader 1 minute and then incapable of catching a fucking 9-year-old the next? Bro chose to use his freaky extendable Diddy arm instead of his literal telekinetic powers, and then somehow still lost in a contest of strength against dipshit fucking Derek, bruv. I swear, man, the writers must have been smoking some ungodly substances when they wrote this shit, cause this some generational buns right here. Since the whole bath thing is chalked, 11 wants to head straight for the Diddy dimension to 1v1 the final boss, but Hopper gets all up in her shit trying to stop her from staying behind. Bro out here saying some uncharacteristically pardon me. Bro was out here saying some uncharacteristically soppy stuff, like how 11 has a whole life ahead of her and stuff like that, which I'm not gonna lie, was actually kind of touching, to be honest. I did like it. I mean, it was a nice try, Hopper. It was a nice try. It's just unlucky that Season 5 11 has the emotional capacity of a fucking toaster, bruv. Now, I was gonna complain about Henry suddenly being capable of going into the cave after 2 whole years of being a little bitch about it, but I'm not going to, because Jamie Kambal Bauer absolutely cooked. Again, bro's performance literally never misses, so yeah, W scene. Now, back in the Diddy dimension, Will's busy stating the obvious.
It's Henry. He's alive.
And then everyone else pretends to be shocked. The writers then realized Joyce had no reason whatsoever to be here, so they had her stay with Will, who started absolutely tweaking out, bruv. Meanwhile, the military man then pull up in one of them anti-11 choppers, so Hopper finally comes to his senses, ditches Carly, and grabs 11. No, wait, Hopper, bro, don't go back for her, man. What the fuck? Now, I don't know when Hopper became more skilled than a specialist military unit, but he low-key built like that for real. W action scene. But in the end, Greasy Hair catches Hopper and threatens to shoot Carly if he doesn't say where 11 is. Before Hopper can happily tell the dude to blow her brains out though, Murray puts his grenade salad to good use and blows the entire anti-11 thing sky high, bruv. 11 then starts moving like the villain by straight up murderizing every soldier in the room, despite lots of them having a loving wife and kids, but let's just ignore that detail, yeah? Carly then drops some subtle One Piece level foreskinning on her deathbed before 11 and Hopper leave her to die a lonely and cold death, all alone in the cold like a lonely, cold person. They rendezvous with M-Dog on the roof and have a little heart-to-heart where 11 basically says that she ain't Hopper's daughter like that and just makes my goat look really sad. It's not cool, bro. Not cool at all. Meanwhile, Vepstein is having to face the memory of him killing that random briefcase dude in the— Wait, he's alive, bro? What the fuck? The briefcase actually had Mind Flayer shizzle in it, which infiltrated Henry and used him as the first vessel. It's basically the whole reason that he even got powers and became a spider-loving freakazoid in the first place. Will then uses the hive mind to desperately try and talk no jutsu Henry out of being a totally sucky knobhead. But this ain't Naruto, bruv. We ain't doing no flashback to a swing in this shit, bruv. This some talk no jutsu but hold the jutsu shit, cause all this yap ain't achieving nothing, bruv. I feel like this whole Henry is innocent thing was low-key a desperate attempt to try and squeeze some kind of emotional reaction from the audience before revealing that he's too far gone so we can just murder the fuck out of him anyway. I don't know, bruv. The whole thing don't make no sense at this point, alright? It all feels completely pointless, but at least Jamie Campbell Bauer absolutely killed it again, and even Noah Schnapp gave a performance that didn't make me want to smack my head off a brick wall. Alright, now while all this was going down, we somehow squeezed Derek through that tiny ass hole leading to the exit, and then all of the kids miraculously found their own Kate Bush to help them escape off screen because, according to the Duffer Brothers, consistency is overrated and stinky. Everything then gets bare weird, bruv, because Vepstein's base of operations turns into a giant Mind Flayer spider kaiju or something like that, bruv. And despite being absolutely massive and having 800 legs, this thing's somehow moving slower than Lance Stroll on race day, bruv. This is like if I let an ant outrun me, bruv. Low-key, I'd have to delete myself after that one still. Anyway, the final boss kaiju is loose and there's no Levi Ackerman around to stop it. And speaking of peak fiction, 11 then enters the Diddy dimension and starts moving like Final Fight Mikasa. If Mikasa had a wetsuit instead of a red scarf and just hella negative aura. Actually, I'm just hating for no reason, bruv. This was a pretty dope looking scene and a good callback to her fake ass superhero training at the beginning of the season. It might be a cheap copy of Attack on Titan's final fight, but it's not like I'm gonna hate on it for taking inspiration from the greatest story ever told, bruv. Anyway, Wetsuit Girl and Vepstein start their completely emotionless and dry final battle, while the big spider ting still fails to catch up with Nancy, who lures it over to the cliff face and then gets her ass stuck in a little cave ting, innit? For some reason, they decided the finale of the whole show should be a less emotional and slightly worse version of the season 3 finale that everyone except me hated. Yeah, I love season 3, man. Shoot me. Everyone then starts getting hella tacky with it. And by everyone, I mean Jonathan. Literally just Jonathan, because he used his brain and brought a flamethrower. Robin throws a fucking shoe. Nancy blasts the ting with a fucking Nerf gun. And then Steve and Dustin poke its belly with spears like they're trying to give it a COVID jab or something, bruv. Bruv, this ting is bigger than KSI's forehead, bruv. No way you're delusional enough to think that you're gonna do anything useful right now with these weak-ass weapons, bro. They even got my boy Lucas moving like prime Usopp, bruv. Useless. I remember when the Mind Flayer was a terrifying smoke demon that triggered my megalophobia, bruv. I thought this thing was some sentient mastermind hell-bent on taking over the world, but in the final fight, it's turned into a mindless donut, bruv. Generational fall-off for this series, I cannot lie. Back in Eren's mouth, Mikasa manages to impale Vepstein on a big tooth ting with the help of Will's homosexual sorcery. Oh wait, so no, it's just sorcery. My bad. Normal sorcery. It's with the help of Will's normal sorcery. Everybody then rendezvous inside the corpse of the big monster thing. And at this point, I was there thinking, yeah, all this is way too easy, bruv. There was no way we was just gonna end it like that. But then it hit me. This is Stranger Things Season 5, bruv. Of course it's gonna be that easy. And unfortunately, I was right. Joy straight up decapitated that motherfucker with her own axe in a scene that was, well, it was actually kind of peak, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it was a little bit peak. There was like bare emotional flashbacks showing everyone's own reasons for wanting this prick dead. You know, you're just gonna ignore the fact that 10 minutes earlier, we learned Henry was actually just a completely innocent little boy being controlled by this dark entity. But you know what? Forget all that, bruv.
Kill that boy! Kill that boy!
The entire gang then happily drive back to the gate with the bomb timer set to go off any minute, but all of them are apprehended by Dr. K and the military mandem as soon as they cross back over, which is when 11 actually reveals she is staying behind in the Upside Down like she and Carly planned. She brings Mike into her emotionless void so they can have an emotionless goodbye, and no, I'm not just hating this time. Mike, what sort of virgin fuckery is this, bruv? Take some notes from your boy Lucas, bruv, because this ain't it, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Bro saying goodbye to the love of his life, and yet he moving like Ingenium with that stiff-ass hand, bruv. It's actually just depressing, man. Long story short, 11 supposedly dies, and then everyone else lives, and shit just goes back to normal. Now, I'ma be so for real, though. Even though the climax of this show was pure ass, everything from this moment onwards is genuinely peak. The graduation scene had me tearing up. The old gang's rooftop talk had me tearing up. The final D&D game had me tearing up. Mike watching his younger sister start the best days of her youth had me tearing up. The only thing that didn't have me tearing up was Hopper's proposal to Joyce, purely because I was too busy getting mad that he wasn't wearing that fuck-ass Hawaiian shirt from Season 3. The cherry on top was how the ending kinda paralleled the ending of Season 1, where Mike still knew that 11 was alive. Leaving her ending open to interpretation is pretty damn cool, and I too believe she's alive because Mike's point about how she wouldn't have been able to use her powers to talk to him due to the anti-11 canon things was actually pretty valid. Low-key, it's hard to argue with that. And yeah, I don't even want to make jokes about this part of the ending, to be honest, because I thought it was great. And also because my entire Christmas has been overrun with Stranger Things. I swear down, bruv, if I have to watch, edit, or talk about Stranger Things for another minute, I'm gonna have a generational crash out. That being said though, I've had a lot of fun making these videos, and you guys seem to be really enjoying them, so let me know what you want to see me cover next. I'm also thinking of doing The Boys and because their new seasons are gonna start releasing very soon, bruv. Anyway, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in a bit. Peace.